So before we get into this next bit, right? So there's this girl, Just Pearly Things. You've heard of her?
Yes.
She seems like she's been taking the internet by storm. I mean, she was literally probably the most influential podcaster maybe outside of Andrew Tate, but Andrew Tate wasn't really a podcaster.
Right.
But big internet sensation. Yeah. She's been, dominating the game, and a lot of people have criticized her because they want to label her a grifter. So essentially, they think that the only reason why she's speaking against women is because she's trying to tap into the manosphere and tap into that world where she can pretty much just make money.
For sure.
And there's big YouTubers such as Ab and Preach. They've been clapping back at the red pill space for quite some time now. So let's see a reaction that Ab and Preach had to say to Just Pearly Things.
Today, I am going to be reacting to Ab and Preach's hit piece on me.
When you have a house, there's a lot of chores. There's a lot of shit to do around the house. A lot. And she works all day bringing that paper, that stack. And then she goes home and she still got to do some work. It's gonna take a toll. And she doesn't feel like it's separated at work. Like she doesn't feel like the work is equally separated at home. It's gonna be a burden. It's definitely going to be a burden.
And see, this is the thing. A lot of these reaction channels will try to nitpick, and they'll be like, well, if she's working, the chores are going to be hard. Guys, marriage is supposed to be hard. And I've told this story many times on my channel, so I'm just going to tell it again. There's a relative of mine, and this relative was married for 50 years. And this woman did not believe in divorce. It was just not an option in her book. And her husband actually left the family for another woman. And she prayed to God for a solution because that was her belief. She did not believe in she did not believe in divorce. So her husband leaves, and the side chick died. He came home and she didn't throw it over his head. She asked where they went wrong in the marriage and how they could fix it. And that's the thing. A lot of times people in our generation are so quick to throw in the towel. People used to have their husbands go to war.
Is your idea of commitment staying married until death do us part to somebody who left you for another person?
All right, so
we gotta figure out where you gonna start this thing because that was a lot,
right,
in there. Yeah.
So I'll just start off by saying this, right? I find it very interesting because I would have never thought. Now, let me preface my statement by saying this, right? I've been watching them for a while, and for the most part, I think they're fair for the most part. But on this one, I'm kind of siding with my girl, Just Pearly Things. And let me tell you why. Right? Because, for one, apparently Abba and Preach's issue with Just Pearly Things is the fact that she's advocating that marriage is going to be hard and pretty much both parties have to just suck it up and find a way to make it work. Now, in a world where divorce is about 70 to 80%, especially here in America, I'm of the mindset of Just Pearly Things on this, and for this reason. Are we promoting that when things get tough, that you should just divorce, especially for chores? Especially for chores? What do you think?
That is exactly what is being promoted in this time. Now, chores is just like one little thing that they can pick at, but realistically, it's any little thing that, because you're not seeing men run to these family courts and say, hey, I'm trying to get a divorce. We already know the statistic is it's 80% of women, right, I believe, filing for divorce.
Right.
So what is it that these women are divorcing these men for? When you would have to break it down and talk to a bunch of different people, but for the most part, I would agree with her. It's not anything really substantial that these women are breaking up homes, making children fatherless for the most part. Now you got a woman out there with children, no covering, nobody looking out for her because she got in her little emotions because of chores or something. So, I mean, we could even talk about what was she even, these women that they talking about, why are they even on the job outside of the house? Hey, remember we talked about society flipping and making them having that agenda? There was a time when the woman used to be at home, taking care of the house, taking care of the children, and now you got to become a man and be like, okay, so I'm supposed to work, come home and vacuum, and she's supposed to come home and we supposed to make the chores even.
Come on, man. Nah, man. But it's got to be fair.
Nah. What's fair is this: I'll go out, you stay at home. So when I come home, food is ready. This is just me.
Hey, nah. Look, guys, I don't endorse this. So, wait, time out. You gotta tell me this, TJ. Are you telling me that you go to work and that your wife doesn't go to work?
Yeah.
Stop. You guys, I don't endorse. TJ, are you telling me that your wife stays home while you carve out a living?
She will stay home.
No.
I will go out and figure out any way possible.
So you're a real man.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what it is.
Indeed.
TJ's a real man.
I don't expect her to go out and do anything, to do any kind of protecting, providing, securing any kind. I don't expect her to do that. So guess what? I'm not saying I can't come home and do something if I see something needs to be done. But guess what? That's not my focus. Why? Because she's home. So if she's home, guess what? I do expect to walk through in the house smelling good, being clean, food prepared. Why? Because she don't have to do the other stuff. And I don't want to do, you know what I mean? Like there's roles that need to be played by the proper party.
Yeah.
So what these guys is talking about is like, oh, we equal part of. There's nothing equal. Even if we go to the book, there was nothing equal.
Come on.
And I'm not gonna stay in the book long because I'm just saying. The creator said I'm gonna make a help meet suitable, a helper. Guess what? If I'm a CEO and I got other people under me that are supposed to help me push the business forward, guess what? I have more responsibility. They're there to help. Yeah. So guess what? Their workload is not going to be the same as mine. It's going to be different. I'm not saying that the workload is going to be easier one way or another, but it's not the same workload because they're there to assist and help push the vision forward. So this 50-50 thing, this is what's getting a lot of people in trouble. A lot of women coming into marriages thinking that they're equal to the man.
Yeah.
Because, they may go out and they may bring a check in. And each his own. Whatever. A man can run his house however he wants. Well, all I'm saying is I don't think that's the best route possible that people should be going down, but that's just my opinion.
Oh, man, I couldn't say any better, but there's more.
What? Fellas, if your wife leaves you for another woman and tries to get married with that person and they're together for a long time and then the other man dies and she try to come back, are you a great husband for waiting? But you expect the woman to do that.
They would have called that man a whole ass cuck.
A simp.
A simp.
They would have called him Sneeko.
Alright, man, there's so much to unpack. Cause you see how so we actually missed this part the first time because Just Pearly Things was explaining how I think it was her aunt or whatever the case may be.
Family member.
That some family member that apparently the man cheated on her and she actually waited. I guess that's such a bad thing to do, to wait on your husband. Now, why am I going to address this, right? Because they actually try to create this false equivalency by saying that if the tables were reversed and that if the woman was to go cheat and that if the man was to stay, then they would call him a cuck. Well, yeah, you will be a cuck. I mean, because men or women are not equal. No. All right? I don't understand why is this even a conversation. Look, check this out. I don't know how much times I have to explain this. A woman cannot go and get abroad.
No.
As a man does.
No.
All right. So in other words, why do you think shows like Maury even exist? Have you ever seen a man go to Maury and try to test a bunch of baby mamas?
Oh, you've never seen.
Right.
Oh,
it doesn't happen because if a man has multiple women, he knows each one of them is the mom of his child.
Yes.
It's just common sense.
Yes.
If we flip the tables and a woman has multiple male partners, then will she ever know who's the child? And you gotta take. And some of you are so delusional in your mind. You might say, "Oh, you could get a birth. What's that test?
Oh, the DNA test.
DNA test. There you go.
Yeah.
My mind. DNA test, right? But you see, this is the thing. If this is why Satan has definitely got a hold on society today, because you're here trying to distort the ways of the Most High because of modern science. back in the day, they didn't have no DNA test to prove who was the dad.
No.
So could you imagine the confusion? Nah. Well, like Andrew Tate would say, haram. It's an abomination.
Yeah.
I ain't nobody trying to rock with that.
No.
Right? So why am I even going here, right? Because back in the day, women, you know what they would do? If their man cheat, if you even want to call that,
Yeah.
we actually should be applauding these women
Oh.
for not breaking up their homes and waiting on the man. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because as
They saw the bigger picture.
there you go.
They understood, again, them being in their role. Okay, is it better for me to stay home? Yes, my husband may have another woman, but is it better for me to stay? Is he taking care of me? Yes. Am I being provided for? Yes. Are the children taken care of? Yes. Does he have another woman on the side? Yes. Does it make me feel good? No. But it ain't about feelings. It was about the functionality of the family.
Duty.
And if he's doing his job, you know, and again, a lot of people are not going to agree with this, but we're coming from more from a biblical perspective and biblical background, and that's okay. Some people are going to say, that's not even in the Bible. Don't worry about it. That's
You already lost.
Don't worry about it.
Right.
But you know that they understood it was better to keep the family together for the sake of the children, even.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, and I would say this. Me personally, I don't think women should be leaving their man. But even there's couples that you've heard of, and I don't know if I know anybody personally, but they'll wait till the children are grown, at least.
Yeah.
You know, because does it make it better necessarily? No. But they're thinking about, okay, you know what? I'm not going to be selfish and make a sudden move that's going to not only affect me, not only affect my husband, but also affect these little children who don't have a say. People don't think about the children.
Right.
They don't think about the children.
Yeah, and that's the thing. There's so many statistics out there that if a child is born in a single parent home, you drastically put that child at a disadvantage. I think the probability of teens dropping out, if you get what I'm saying, like
Okay,
if they were born in
yeah.
a single parent home, that they have a higher chance of dropping out of high school. They have a higher chance of teen pregnancy. They have a higher chance of entering gangs.
Going to jail.
Right?
I mean,
So the list goes on and on. Why would you put your child at such a disadvantage, all because of chores? Are we talking about chores?
chores.
And this is what these brothers are talking. Like, look, I actually respect Abba and Preach, but on this one, y'all dudes are tripping out here for chores.
And these guys, like I said, I don't know a whole bunch about them, but I know for the most part, even on this YouTube platform, a lot of people are going to say things to appease to a certain kind of people for likes and views. So they may not even truly believe this. I don't know. They might, but at the end of the day, they're going to say stuff that's going to be appeasing to who? The women.
Yeah, the women. Yeah,
Because who's spending a lot of time watching, doing all this stuff? It's a lot of women.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And you actually touching on the bigger reason why I actually wanted to present this video, because it seems like we're living in a world where women are actually more in tune with the masculine dynamic than men are.
absolutely.
Like, why are these two men on top of that? They sound more feminine than just pearly.
Literally, she keeps it simple. It's like, stay. Like, it's gonna be tough. That's a given. Like, let's work it out. But let's remain. Keep the family together. Stay. But these guys, hey, maybe someplace somebody wife ain't take the garbage out. The husband came home from a long day, forgot to take the garbage out. And that could be enough to blow the whole family up. I don't know. Only in America.
For garbage.
Listen, Just Lonely Things over here, okay, without her man, okay, is telling you to wait lonely by yourself years for a husband who not coming home. What?
Work all day, you have to go home, then you have to cook. Yeah, you have to cook. Then you have to clean. Then you have to put the kids to bed. Then you have to do.
But do you hear how spoiled we are? Do you hear how spoiled this sounds? Like, people used to get divorced for real reasons, like the death of a child. You know, my husband's mistress. And now it's because you're frustrated over a messy house.
But after a couple of weeks, it's really fast for you to be drained. You figure to yourself, why not drain?
But that's a choice. You can allow it to drain you, or you cannot.
Just keep it rolling. Just said, you're drained? That's a choice. You think being physically exhausted is a choice? You think somebody working 2 jobs coming home late at night, goes right to bed, doesn't cook or do dishes, do you think that's a fucking choice? Hey, everybody right now who's struggling and who's really feeling tired because you got multiple jobs, it's because you choose to be exhausted.
You know, I've lived with all different types of people, I swear. I always had different roommates in college. And it really is a choice at the end of the day. And I grew up with 9 siblings, 9. I'm telling you, shit can be worked out.
This is coming from a girl who grew up in a mansion and has daddy pay all her bills. She's trying to tell you guys where physical exhaustion comes from. One of the most fucking privileged people in America is telling you physical exhaustion is in your brain. You're imagining it.
Again, I'm not really attacking like what he's saying. It's more of the mindset behind it.
The relationship is.
I mean, and for a guy that's big on stats, okay, this is the stat man. Because again, number 2, right? So I feel like most opinions will come from lived real world experience. Second thing is studies. When you're not sure, you look at studies. I'm going to read this. This is from CBS News, all right? Does the sight of men doing traditional female chores turn women off? A new study suggests that the more time men spend on household tasks, the less sex they have. Our findings suggest the importance of socialized gender roles for sexual frequencies in heterosexual marriage. Lead author Sarbino Corich, junior researcher at the Center for Advanced Studies at the Juan March Institute in Madrid, said in a press release, couples in which men participate in more household work typically done by women report having sex less frequently. Similarly, couples in which men participate more in traditionally masculine tasks, such as yard work, paying bills, and auto maintenance, report higher sexual frequency.
Do you see anything wrong with that?
No.
I mean, look, I'm gonna be real honest with you. Like, if I went to work, right, after a long day, and my wife was expecting me to clean some dishes, I mean, the first thing that would come to my mind is like, why the hell do I have you in the house for?
What you been doing all day?
Right, like, are you supposed to be a prince? And this is actually the thing, right? The paradigm in which they're speaking, like, I'm gonna try to give Abba and Preacher a benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Like, the paradigm that they're speaking in, it sounds like the woman is going to work.
Yes.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
It sounds like the woman is going to work, the man is going to work, and therefore the chores needs to be split amongst them both. In that situation, okay, somewhat, and even at that, whatever, you know what I mean? But I can somewhat understand it if that's where they're coming from.
Right.
But again, this is what I'm saying. If you're going to be listening to these dudes, it's very clear to me that they're not really operating fully as men. And this is just my opinion. And the reason why is, as we discussed before, like, a real man, he ought to be going to work, and his woman stays at home.
Yeah.
I mean, am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if I was to come home and I have to do chores when my wife was home, hell yeah, I wouldn't want to have sex with her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, that's not even a woman that I would even want to look at. 'Cause I mean, like, why do I have you in the house?
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, these guys don't like. I heard this term. They call it traditional man, meaning this that kind of guy. He's going out. He's doing what he's supposed to do, right? So a lot of these women, they want the traditional man, right? But they're not trying to be traditional women. You know what I mean? So these guys again are appeasing to the non-traditional woman who's out there on a job, and then she got to come home and do the roles that she should be doing, but she's out there working. She's doing all this extra stuff, and it's like it's a big mess, man. It's like there's no way to, almost correct the minds of the people, because, like I said, my brain doesn't even function like this.
Yeah.
Like, so it's hard. It's almost hard for me to like understand like what these guys are seeing and how can they make that make sense in their mind. Like, we're equal. We got equal, duties. We both go to work. We both got to come home and clean. It's like, why don't we split that? I'll do one part and you do the other part, and then we're still accomplishing the same goal. Yeah. You know what I mean? But everybody, I don't know, man. It's hard for me to wrap my head around it.
This study was published in the February edition of the American Sociological Review. Surveyed 4,500 heterosexual married couples from 1992 to 1994. The average age for the men was 46 and the women 44. Now, the study backs me up. I'm just,
Men can improve their sex lives by doing more household chores. Study. Yes, couples who share chores have more sex. Here we go. A study published in the Journal of Marriage and Family in August has found that among couples who share their chores more evenly, there is more sexual gratification. In fact, they say researchers, the only couples reporting having more sex than their forebears did are those who are both getting busy with the household duties. Why do chores change anything? Here we go. The evidence shows that men do a greater share of household chores, share of household work. Women's perception of the relationship, fairness, and satisfaction are greater. Listen, anybody who's dated women, and this is why I say she's a child who has no real life experience. Anybody who's been in a relationship knows, bro, when you do something for your girl, the girl wants to fuck you way more. Simple. You go pick her up from a spot. You bring her food when she least expect it. You clean before she even get back. She wants to fuck even more. Why? Because you make life easier. It's the same thing for dudes. Like, yo, when my girl make me food, you best believe I'm looking, hey, you sexy motherfucker with that spatula in your hand. Let's replace that with some D, right? I remember one time my girl, I just came home, she'd already folded all my clothes that I never even asked her to do. She was staying over the weekend. She's out. She folded when I wasn't even looking. Yo, best believe I beat that shit up, gave her another reason to do some laundry. But Just Lonely Things over here wouldn't know that. Even though she's a nerd who says, the studies back me up. You have selective heat.
So now what this guy is saying is he's putting it in the man's mind. Oh, and I have a good example, and this is absolutely awful. He's saying, okay, if men think about doing more for their women at home, the chances of them getting more sex is going to go through the roof. Why? Because they're making it easier on the woman. The last time I checked, a woman was given to a man. A woman was made for the man to make his mission, his life, easier.
Yeah, she's the help me.
She's the help me, not vice versa. So now he's going to put this in guys' minds like, oh, let me come home and wash the dishes and pet the cat and clean the dog and vacuum. And then when she walk in the house, she's going to be more likely to want to have sex? No. I had a pastor. I'm going to give you this quick example. Yeah. This is what it's a whole nother spin. I'm not going to talk about Christianity right now. But I had a former pastor. He used to, because he had 8 children. Wife was always tired. Got a lot of children. Just trying to manage all this stuff. He would say, you know what I got to do to, what helps, warm things up for, I'm not going to say her name, me and my wife or whatever, and he would have this suitcase on stage, flip the suitcase up so you couldn't see what he was doing, and in the suitcase he had those yellow rubber cleaning gloves, and he would put it on and he'd be like, I'm just washing the dishes. So when so-and-so come home, I'm like, and I used to laugh at it, but now I look back, I said that is a wicked, like, so now he's sitting there, all these men sitting here like, okay, I'm gonna go home, wash these dishes. And guess what? I had with my ex-wife. I had a moment where I was in that phase, but because I didn't know better. Yeah. Now I know better, and you couldn't pay me enough money to go back. Right. You couldn't pay me enough money to go back to operate in that way of partnership, equal. I'm gonna come home and even though I'm out here playing football, I'm gonna come home and wash the laundry. Right. I pay for this house, but I'm gonna come home and vacuum downstairs. Or what you been doing all day?
Hey, no, you say you paid the house?
Oh, I bought the house.
You bought, so that makes life easier, right?
On her, yeah.
You paid for the light,
everything,
right? You paid for the water,
everything.
So, I mean, shouldn't that be grounds for having more sex? They were saying that if you make life easier on the woman, she's gonna think the woman's perception is that she views that as fairness. I mean, if we are going to work, men, right? Men, we go to work. Mm. We make it easier on you women because we pay the bills, pay for the light, pay for the heating, pay for the gas, put food in your belly, put a roof over your head.
I'll say this: any woman that says she likes to work is a liar.
Oh yeah, facts.
I think she's a liar because
she's capping.
She's big time because at the end of the day, you can go put all these years in working. Okay, now something's gonna hit you at some point in time. Like, man, I'm in my late 30s or my early 40s. I have no children. I probably got no man because I act like one. Like something's gonna hit them. But I honestly believe though, for a lot of the women that I know who work, they hate working.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of women who act like they like to work because they like that. Oh, I'm equal like a man. I can do what a man do. But deep down inside, I don't believe they like. I don't truly believe because they're outside of their role, what they were created to do.
Yeah.
So there's always gonna be something in there that's gonna be like, yeah, I don't really like this, but I gotta make it seem.
Yeah.
Like I'm enjoying life. Like this is the best life is. Like I got making all this money. Keep all that money, but you're gonna be old and alone with a cat.
Yeah. I mean, I made a video about Tracy Ellis Ross.
Oh.
You know, the girl from Girlfriends.
Yeah.
Man, this girl was considered bad when she was younger. You know, everybody probably wanted her.
Yeah.
Right? But guess what? Now she's in her 50s. I think she's 50.
She's in her 50s.
50s, alone, childless. She hit perimenopause, which apparently is the phase right before menopause. Mm-hmm. But pretty much, it's done data. It's a wrap.
And guess what she got to do? Cause I see she got to take all these provocative pictures now to try to get some young Thundercat who's gonna come and say, you know what? Okay, I remember you when you was in your prime. You still look a little bit decent. Yeah, that's what she can do.
Yeah, cool.
But nobody's gonna take and say, you know, I'm gonna make her wife. You're 50 years old.
Yeah. She hit the wall.
Oh, big time.
She hit that wall.
Big time.
Real hard.
Hearing, you have selective reading. You look for studies that back up your claim, not looking for anything else. Nobody takes one singular study and thinks that's real. You have to do dozens of studies. Other researchers have to take your study.
I'm sorry. I mean, what is different? What did they do any different that Just Pearly Things did?
What you mean, like?
I mean, it's Just Pearly Things she read from one study.
Yeah.
And
they didn't do nothing different.
Yeah, they did the same exact thing.
Yeah.
Studies and back up that data and see if it changes based off location, if it's double blind, everything like that. Reading a single study doesn't make you smart. It doesn't mean you're right. It just means there's evidence that, hey, this theory might be true. But you need to test that theory. This is why I say this girl's a grifter and an idiot. She doesn't know how to read studies even though she cites them often. She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She's a goober. Her pulling up studies like this in a disingenuous manner as if she's done her research, she hasn't. You know what she did? She went on Google. She went to imright.com, and that's it. We got a past according to home.
imright.com. Look, truth be told, again, I said it already, but I mean, I don't see anything that they're doing any different than Just Pearly Things. And truth be told, let's keep it a buck, y'all. You know, in any debate forum or reactions, essentially, you exalting your own opinion over the next man. You get what I'm saying? So, like, this idea that, she wants this idea that she's only right. Well, I mean, preach. You guys did the same exact thing. You think you're right.
Yeah, indeed.
Right.
They truly believe that. But at the end of the day, I'm going to stick to this. They know their audience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they know who's listening. They know who they're trying to appeal to, whose ears they're trying to grab. So they're going to stick. They're going to say. And like I said, they may believe this. They may not. I don't know. The only thing with Just Pearly Things is I like what she says a lot of times. But I need a male somewhere who has been with her to say, hey, this woman is doing X, Y, what she's talking about. Because she sounds good. It sounds good, like, oh, she's talking right. But I need somebody to come and say, this is my woman. And what she's talking about, that's what she's doing. But I haven't seen that video yet. That's my only thing with Just Pearly. But outside of that, I like what she's saying. Yeah. For the most part, because it is a different mindset, and it's more of the mindset of keeping relationships together, keeping families together. So for the most part, I can agree with the majority of the things I've heard her say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you ended it off on a good point. I mean, truth be told, I think Just Pearly Things have this new endeavor where she has wife school, and she's not a wife.
That's correct. I'm not going to that school.
And it's just like, look, sis, stay in your lane. All right, stay in your lane. You're good for dropping facts. Kudos for that. But don't try to teach no woman to be a wife when you're not a wife. Yeah. You know, like.
Unless she's a wife, and we don't know about it.
She's single.
Okay. I was trying to give her. I was trying to throw you a bone. I was trying, but it ain't happening. Okay.
Nah. But so if you enjoyed this clip, click on the full video right here. And if you would like to see more videos like this, click on the playlist right here. Game hard, y'all.